So I had to make this video because uh, wind bombing is superior than rocket boarding. But initially, I had trouble trying to wind bomb because you have to time it. Like even though it's superior, it's a faster and more powerful method of travel. The truth is that rocket boarding is more player friendly. Like if you're not a glitch hunter yet, if you're not into glitches yet in any Zelda game, be it Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, if you're not sure about wind bombing, what's gonna get you to wind bomb and return to Breath of the Wild after having played Tears of the Kingdom is if you rocket board, because rocket boarding is so easy compared to wind bombing, even though it's an inferior form of travel. See, here you can see we're failing the wind bomb. See, we're failing here. Like, but you can fail it because the game will lag sometimes. The frames will mess up your wind bomb setup. But when you get it right, well, here we're not getting it right. Here well, sorta. We gained some altitude there, and now we're rocket boarding. Rocket boarding. Once you do the fuse entanglement, that's it. You just gotta press the shield button, the A button, and the sprint button, and you're off to the races. Look at it, just flying. And here, I'm not showing it, but if you pull out your bow and activate the slow motion, the bullet time, that's how you can change direction and then go back to like shield canceling. You start shield canceling, and then boom, you're flying again. It's the easiest thing. And I had to make this retrospective because these movement mechanics, without them, none of the games are the same. I know there's a lot of Zonai stuff in Tears of the Kingdom, or in Breath of the Wild, you can call a horse, you can even use the motorcycle. But without these movement glitches, I would still be playing Ocarina of Time and Majora's Masks. Like these unintended movement glitches are what make these games so novel and new and exciting for me. And I know Nintendo put a lot of effort into remaking Zelda. You know, Zelda used to be like purely puzzle, almost it's an adventure puzzle game where you go into temples, you get into trouble, you solve the puzzle, you defeat the boss at the end, you get the heart. But these new games with these unintended movement mechanics, I played them so much. I've probably played these two, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I've probably played both of them like 200 hours each, or like 150 hours each of them, which is like twice as much as I played Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. Because first off, I was a kid. Ocarina of Time came out in '98, I think, '97, '98, and you play the game, and once you're done with it, you're done with it. It's not like now where you can go into YouTube or where speedruns are so accessible now. Back in the day, speedruns didn't used to be as accessible. Well, nothing used to be as accessible as it is now. But yeah, look at us here. We're flying. We're flying, not a care in the world. So simple to just. Now, let me go back to the wind bombing. The wind bomb. You have to. You pull out your bomb, then you pull out your other bomb, and you explode the first bomb so that the second bomb can impact blast you into infinity. And that's nice and all, but again, you can fail it. It's not gonna come out perfect every time. The downside about rocket boarding. Here are the downsides of rocket boarding, and then I'll get to the downsides of wind bombing. Rocket boarding, you need to use the item duplication glitch, so that each time you run out of the shield, because the rocket is infinite, right? In version 1.0.0, you can infinite rocket board. except that you only have like the shield has like 800. The Helion shield, which is the one you want to be using all the time because it's the strongest shield, has 800 durability. So I think that translates into 800 rocket boards, so you can shield cancel 800 times before your shield breaks. So you need to be duplicating with the duplication glitches your Zonai rockets. You need to duplicate those. You need like 100 of those. The shields, you're gonna be duplicating them over and over. Like each time you break 4 shields or 3 shields, you gotta go duplicate 3 more shields. Do that over and over. So that's a downside. On top of the fact that wind bombing is more powerful. Now here we're wind bombing, right? You gotta get all these timings correctly. The bombs have to be aligned properly. It's a timing. It's basically after a while it's just muscle memory. So there's no need to go so deep into it. It's like the mathematics of it, the angles of it. Just muscle memory. First bomb, second bomb, and then explode, and it'll become your hands will start doing it naturally after a while. But another problem with wind bombing is that you have to do the item slot glitch and get 999 fairies. Because with the wind bombing, you're gonna be taking so much damage that you're inflicting on yourself just for the sake of like travel. You're just blowing yourself up. You're basically Link is basically like hurting himself to gain air and momentum and distance. So you need the fairies because your hearts are gonna deplete your hearts. What else? I think that's about it. Also the battery. Yeah, I forgot for the rocket boarding. Some people call it pocket rocket. I don't know. You need the Zonai battery. Eventually, if you get a long enough Zonai battery, you won't have to eat the large Zonai charges that give you temporary infinite Zonai battery. You have to eat one of the large charges so that you can rocket board freely without having to worry about depleting your battery. Eventually, once you do enough, I can't remember how you expand your battery. If it's like, it's not doing shrines. I forgot. I haven't played the game in a year. That's why I'm making this retrospective video because it's been more than a year now, like a year and 1 month or a year and 2 months since Tears of the Kingdom released. And yeah, I played that game a lot. When I found out the rocket boarding, I started a new profile just to like rocket board or all over the place because it's just so much easier. Even though it's slower, it's far slower than wind bombing. Although rocket boarding is faster than the motorcycle, the hover bike. It's faster, and you don't have to because if you want to fly around with the hover bike, you have to keep cloning, duplicating your Zonai fans and your Zonai stand and Zonai batteries. There's just so much more items that you need to duplicate. And personally, for me, whenever you're duplicating items, you're playing in the menu of the game, but you're not playing as Link. You're not moving around. You're not shooting your bow. You're not jumping. You're not swinging your sword. You're in the menu, duplicating items, and that's sort of like a mini game within the game, and not the actual game. You want to be playing the actual game whenever whenever you launch a video game. you don't want to be doing nonsense stuff that is not playing the game. So that's a problem, the amount of duplication. And therein lies another advantage of the rocket bombing. Your bombs are infinite. You don't need to duplicate anything except for the fairies. The fairies are just to keep you alive. And once you do the fairy glitch and you get 999 fairies, 999 fairies. Once you have your fairies, it's unlikely that you'll run out. Like by the time you reach Ganondorf and then get the motorcycle, you should still have like 500 fairies spare. So yeah, all those things. I really did enjoy Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but these movement glitches were game changers for me. I remember before I first discovered the because there's another movement glitch in Breath of the Wild, the where you grab the bomb and you slide, you just fly, and you have to like spin the left joystick, keep spinning it so you don't fall. I remember when I what led me to discover all these movement glitches is the fact that the bow of light. I was watching an El Duende video, and El Duende made a video. It's a really cool video made by El Duende. I don't know if he didn't discover this glitch, but he's like a major contributor. The bow of light, where you do like the slot, the item transfer something manipulation glitch, and it lets you keep the bow of light, and it lets you start a new game. You can wake up as Link from the Shrine of Awakening with the bow of light, and that blew my mind. And I hadn't played. This was in 2022, right? And I hadn't played Breath of the Wild since like 2020. Basically, more than a year I hadn't played Breath of the Wild. Then El Duende comes out with this video of the bow of light, and then you can have it forever. Which it's a bow that has infinite arrows that don't fall off from gravity. So it's like a straight line, and the bow doesn't break. You have infinite arrows, the bow doesn't break, and you don't have to account for gravity. So then I started a new game in Breath of the Wild. This is in 2022. So I started a new game, Breath of the Wild, and I just abuse just from the Shrine of Awakening. I have the Bow of Light, and basically I don't use my Master Sword at all. It's just me with the Bow of Light, just pew, 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 blasting away at everybody like pew pew pew, and I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun blasting enemies. And then I go, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to wind bomb, but that's still kind of difficult for me. So I'm gonna learn the slide, the bomb slide thing. And dude, honestly, it's difficult if you choose to not use wind. I recommend that you do learn how to use wind bombing, but the bomb slide thing is so good on its own that you could route. Say you routed a speed run for Breath of the Wild, like a no wind bomb route. You could do it with just the bomb sliding. You could get a lot of things done with just the bomb sliding and no wind bombing. It's crazy. So then I master the bomb sliding, and then I go, okay, I'm ready for wind bombing now. And then like, boom, I'm wind bombing all over the place. I'm like decent at it. I'm not great, but just being decent at it is good enough to just breathe new life into the game. And it gave me an excuse, a wonderful excuse, to just play Breath of the Wild all over again. And it's crazy how these unintended glitches uh, make this game so much better than Nintendo could have possibly originally intended. Just like Melee with the wave dashing. In Melee, it's not the same without the wave dashing, and once again, it's an unintended mechanic. So what Nintendo needs to do is to just start leaving. Hey, we glitched the game on purpose. I don't know if you guys remember Tears of the Kingdom. You guys remember after the game launches in like a week in, Nintendo's like they patched it to version 1.1, 1.1.0, and then they made it more difficult to duplicate items, but it didn't matter because the glitch hunters found a way to just duplicate items in version 1.1.0, and then again in 1.1.1 they patched it again, and again the glitch hunters bypassed the patches, and then again in 1.2. So I don't know why Nintendo keeps like, oh, you guys gotta play the game the way we intend. It doesn't matter. The glitches make the game better. Okay, I'm not understanding why. And I don't even have the title for this video yet. I'll probably name this video that, like, how unintended glitches make Zelda on the Switch a far better game. And this is, I'm just talking about the Switch games. You guys have seen the glitches for Ocarina of Time, right? And for Majora's Masks, and it's even crazier than this. Or well, it's just as crazy, and it's always bombs. It's always the bombs. It's never not the bombs. Anyways, I'll leave it. I'll leave it here. Thanks for listening, guys. Uh, yeah, thanks, guys. Take care.